All right, episode 139. You asked the question, so we're going to answer it. How do top agents spend their time? We're going to get started right now.
Doing stuff. We need to do lyrics for the intro.
Yeah.
Doing a podcast with my best friends.
Until we fade it out, I don't want to hear any more about
I mean, you keep talking about the fade, but all right, episode 139. We are going to be discussing and breaking down how our top agents, especially in this real estate market that we are all navigating through, how are they spending their time building their book of business? And as always, if you are turn that volume down. So if you would like to support our sponsors, which you should, because look, this home warranty company that we have really, really fallen in love with, it's not your father's home warranty company, Brian.
But it's Joe Mama's.
It's Joe Mama's home warranty. So you need to connect with Theron over at Armadillo Home Warranty. Armadillo.1/tour. Connect with him. Actually, quick story is I had a buddy that I used to work at this sports store, not pizza, but this sports store called the Soccer Corner. I played one season of soccer, but I sold the crap out of some soccer equipment.
How old were you when you played soccer and worked at the soccer store?
I was like 8 or 9 when I played soccer. I worked at the soccer store, the Soccer Corner there in Plano, when I was 16 through 19 or 20.
So you quit soccer and still work there for 2 more years? I'm just going into a coaching
I played soccer
now.
when I was 8.
I've accomplished everything.
Yeah.
What was the most intricate question you had to ask or answer for a customer at the soccer store?
Will these cleats make me run
Some
fast?
about shin guards.
Yeah, shin guards. Will this hurt if I wear these and someone kicks me?
I just feel like every soccer store could just be a vending machine.
It was it was a fun time. But the point of the story is the gentleman I used to work with at this soccer store was complaining because he was having a home warranty issue that the home warranty that company he was with kind of goes with Shield. So like ends in Shield.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe there's some first parts to it, but they weren't covering some work that should have been done. And so we referred over the Ron with Armadillo. So Armadillo.1/tour. And the Ron is connecting with my former coworker and getting him set up because, look, you can pick your own contractors. That's a huge deal. You're not getting any shitty contractors that come out from one of these other home warranty companies. They use
That's actually very true.
Yeah, the worst of the worst, the cheapest of the cheap,
The absolute worst.
refurbished equipment. They probably just found it in a dumpster.
Just duct tape everything back together. I totally had that story wrong in my head. I thought this was taking place while you were working at the soccer store.
I actually did too.
A grown man was complaining to a 16-year-old child.
Completely thought the same thing.
And the contractors, the home warranty companies sent out, were like not doing their jobs.
Nick
Like, why would
now-
Nick care?
Nick now, 20 years later, got into real estate because some guy at the soccer store bitched at him about his home warranty.
I have been
This is
saving that
origin-
story. I'm
this
like,
is
one
origin
day
story.
the story is going to be perfect.
Nick was like,
for
I'm going to get into real estate and fix this.
Yes.
Screw soccer.
Yes. I wasn't built for soccer. So go to armadillo.1/tour and go check out how great that company is, as well as the best property management company in DFW, homewarddfw.com. Check it out. They're doing good things over there.
They're doing great things over there.
Huge things.
We keep saying they. It's us. We're doing the good
Oh,
things.
yeah, I didn't.
We're
Look at Brian on
full
camera on
disclosure.
his phone.
I'm actually looking up
Come on.
because, and I do want to plug
It's the shittiest
Mortgage
television.
Mike of Texas.com, the best lender in Texas, soon to be the best lender in America, and then the universe. Check out Mortgage Mike of Texas.com for all your Texas lending needs. I wanted to see where Netflix finished, down 35.12% today, and I do want to dive into the time management thing, but man.
So I want to know why they're shitting on Netflix right
I
now.
want to know
why
what
is
you're
everyone
watching on
leaving?
Netflix.
They-
Speaking of the
well,
universe and Netflix.
2 reasons. They had an earnings miss by far.
But it wasn't as bad, I thought.
Their predicted subscriber increase was like, what was it? Supposed to be a couple million?
No,
and they
they
ended
went
up
down.
losing
Yeah, a couple
200,000.
300,000 is what they were down for
What
the
they were
first
down.
quarter.
Okay.
First quarter.
They lost 200,000 subscribers. How many? I'm going to get
Of
that wrong.
20
No,
million,
listen,
though.
No.
In a quarter.
In a quarter, though. But also, I don't know how much them
200
shutting down
million.
Russia plays into that, because it's expected that they wouldn't have growth in the quarter if they locked out an entire country and cut their subscriptions off. But they missed earnings.
Well,
by
Russia
a
sucks
ton.
anyway.
I'm
so.
straight up ripping off the ticket. So if you're local to DFW and listen to the ticket this morning, they talk about this exact thing, though. And they were talking about, I said 20 million. There are over 200 million Netflix accounts, and they estimate that half of those are sharing passwords.
Are they
right?
down? Are they losing it not just because of the Russia deal? I can't imagine. I mean, I'm sure that plays an effect, but is it because of the sharing thing?
I think it's the sharing
Is it?
thing.
And
They're
you're not
trying
going to
cut
lose
down-
subscribers because of sharing. Because if you, dude, no, okay, so this is called stickiness. You know how lazy
Sticky.
people are to cancel a subscription they already have. They're not going to cancel a subscription they already have just because their friend also has it.
But they might not go get a subscription they don't want.
Right, but that wouldn't be losing subscribers.
It wouldn't
That would
be.
be not gaining subscribers. They lost 200,000. Yeah, but they lost 700,000 in Russia. So they were a net loss of 200,000, but they were expecting a 2 million first quarter
million.
increase. So they fell far short, even if they had Russia. Well, my worry is, the reason that I bring this up, this is what happens when you see interest rates start to tick up. You see inflation at really high levels. People start to make choices around the things that they want to do and subscribe to. This is a lot of people looking at their monthly budget right now. So I know that we're talking about like, oh, it's $20 million subscriptions. That is the first quarter in over a decade that Netflix has lost subscribers. They have always increased, and this is their first loss. That's why their stock is getting so hit so hard today. It is something that I am not trying to make predictions, but just keep on your radar. When you see mega companies like that have never lost start to lose subscribers, and it's on a subscription basis, you can be sure that the American middle class is taking a look at their budget right now and deciding where they're going to place their dollars.
Well, they also need to have better. I mean, look, their content is starting to fall off.
It's fucking trash, bro.
It-
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm not. No
like,
one's
let's-
happy with Netflix.
Let's be real. Like they came out with some good stuff, and then all of a sudden it just, they probably blamed COVID, and then that fell flat.
If you watch the Richard Rodriguez documentary and then Tinder Swindler, you can just see how Netflix is going down the toilet as far as the quality.
It's going to be like the Learning Channel pretty soon, where it's not, you're not learning. It's just these
just
awful
trash,
trash docu-series that,
I did watch the 2-hour Elon Musk thing and was thoroughly entertained.
Is that one
I
pretty
don't know
good?
Everybody hates on that guy. Do I not get the Elon Musk hate?
People
Is he
hate
the
success.
Illuminati?
I
Like,
like
what
him.
are we worried about with this guy?
I'm gonna
Whoa,
tell you
what's
right
your
now.
problem?
That's who I was going
He's
to
an
say.
alien.
I love Low to Death, and I know
He's
he
a
watched the
weird
show
guy.
sometimes. Stop hating on Eli.
Eli.
Hate on Eli. I don't know who that is. Hate on
Tom
That's
Eli.
your Giants fan coming
Stop
in
hating
here.
on Elon. I don't know what he's doing wrong to you.
Anyone Brian's Netflix fan. So speaking of the Netflix
Speaking
thing, though,
of, does anybody want Nick's fucking Spectrum
know.
password? I've been using that for 5 years.
one of the things I do think, you were talking about people going through their budgets. I don't think top agents do this, but I think profitable agents do this. I think there's a lot of top agents who are broke,
I know for a fact.
right? I might have resembled that person at different points in my career. I will say what profitable agents do are exactly what Brian's talking about. Brian maniacally goes through his budget every single month and knows exactly where every dollar is being spent. I do it annually, and which is obviously not very great. But every single time you go through, you find stuff. And Brian has this. If you just want to talk about things that are going to start making you more efficient in your business and going to make the time that you spend more efficient and things like that, it's being profitable, right? It's not having money worries to where you're chasing your tail all the time and chasing dollars. And that's exactly what having your budget part dialed in, or at the very least being aware of where you're pissing away money. Because I guarantee you right now, I could probably once again go through and find $300 or $400 a month that is going to stuff that I get zero enjoyment out of. And if I really want to redefine enjoyment, it's probably way more than that.
Yeah, because that's the thing. It's not only just do you or do you not get enjoyment out of it. It's can you replicate that enjoyment without spending the money too? I actually have done this exercise for a long time, and I used to force Matt to do it. You print out your credit card statements every month, highlight all the stuff that weren't
That's
a
exactly what I was
necessity,
thinking of.
and then you ask yourself if you even remember doing it or if you got any joy from it. And if you can't itemize it and say, yes, I remember this and I had a lot of fun, then you got to add all that up and decide how much money
ask
you just
Heather
blew that
whether
month.
we would do that or not.
I'm not saying it's necessarily worth everybody doing, but if we're talking about things that I think agents who do, like when you're talking about really making that turn from selling some houses to really becoming profitable and becoming a business owner, because we all talk shit about how like I post about this. Real estate agents love to talk about how they run their own lives, they run their own business. You're just an employee of you, and you're a shitty boss, right? Like that's the only thing that's happening. You're not any better off than you were before. You're telling yourself that you are, but to make that jump to where you really, it is about leverage and those types of things to really get your time back. But in order just to start making that realistic jump to become a business owner, you have to be thinking profitability first. And I will tell you, I am just as distracted by the shiny shit as anybody else is. But if you're not focusing on the profitability part of your business, I can tell you are not a business owner in any sense of the word at all.
This is not to sound like super nitpicky, though I was on a call with our Little Rock partner today going over their financials, and we went like line by line through their P&L. She's trying to have a better understanding where everything goes, and there was just a line item that said computer charge $62, and I didn't know what it was, and I was like, what is
No,
that?
it's a computer charge.
She was like, I don't know what it is either. I was like, you need to talk to the CFO and find out what that was. And she's like, I was like, I don't care if it's $62, find out what it was. Turns out it was LastPass subscription, and I was like, that shit needs to say LastPass next month. Like, you got to know what that $62 is, otherwise what are you doing? Because $62 turns into $6,200 really, really quickly, and you just don't know where your dollars are going at all. And that's man, I don't know what that story is. There's some story of like some big time agent getting an award and breaking down in tears on stage because she didn't realize like she had no money left, even though she was like the top agent in the company. This is like anecdotal, but
do we think that story's real?
As I said, it's anecdotal, but I guarantee you there's real people like that.
I don't think people have broken down on stage, but the three of us have conversations with people all the time. And we know people that are presenting completely differently at all these award shows that we've had conversations with about their profitability and where their business is at, right? Like there are people we talk to all the time. We know agents who are insanely profitable, run their business, and we're like, holy shit, that's amazing. That's an amazing idea. And we have other agents who come to us and are like, hey, I'm selling all these houses, but I can't figure out where the money is going because they're chasing systems, they're chasing whatever, right? It's not just like I've admitted on camera so many times, mine was bullshit, frivolous spending, right? Yeah. It was like not paying Uncle Sam 30% and just thinking that was mine. Like I got myself in a hole of stupidity.
Yeah,
for real.
When I look at it, by the way, this is, where top agents spend their time. We should call it where profitable agents are spending their time.
Yeah. Why don't we change the title to profitable agents?
Right.
Those are two different things.
Because from that, I mean, we're going down a profitability path or conversation here. And like the way I've always run our company is we go through our P&Ls, but I'm not one to cut numbers necessarily or cut unless it's drastically ridiculous spending, right?
You increased lead spend
always
during the pandemic.
And I will continue. In my opinion, I would much rather increase lead spend, even if it affects my P&Ls in a negative way temporarily, and then go to hire and bring on rather the other way around. I've always been a believer in that because my belief in a team is that agents should be able to build a sustainable and profitable venture off of the team's book.
Yeah, I'm not arguing with it at all.
Yeah,
I actually think it's a good strategy.
I don't want people to hear that though before they go out and implement that in their own individual business, because I will tell you, just lead spend is not the best way for the individual agent to bolster their business all the time either. What you guys have is a culture of people who are tenacious in their lead generation and their follow-up, right? Like, and if you don't have that personal mentality or that culture, you can F away a shitload of money on leads, just adding your database, thinking you're winning and getting yourself further behind.
So you could, but we'll go with Brian. We'll go with what Brian, Brian's building here at Livian is, reducing agent friction. Right. Or human friction. I'd rather just say reducing human friction, right? Yeah. Where look, you could be an individual agent. And if you could build the right systems where if you could generate enough leads, you're not going to have enough time in the day to call them all or to follow up or touch them in the, personally. So with the right system in place, you could go as a top profitable agent. You could go build the right system that eliminates your friction or your obstacles that's preventing you to talk or get in front of more consumers, which is, hey, if you're going to go spend money on leads as an individual agent or even as a team owner, great, do it. But make sure that the ball's not getting dropped. Make sure that they're not just coming into your system or email and there's no touch from them.
Brian asked this beautiful question of what happens next, right? Like he's always asking himself what happens next. And one of the questions I didn't ask myself early in as a real estate agent is, okay, cool, I got this realtor.com lead. What happens next? And I didn't even have budgeted in what happens next. It wasn't just the action on my part. It was how do I automate some of that action? Because then when you are getting 15, 20 leads a month, just be realistic. You're not following up with that many people once they're in the pipeline. They all are in a different stage of the nurture process, right? 20 leads is no problem. 30, 40, 60, 100 that all need something on the same day is a huge problem, right? And Brian does a really great job of asking what happens next, which has changed the dynamic of everything that we can do here. Because to take it all the way back to when it was me trying to figure out these problems, I wasn't asking what happens next. I was like, just throw money and information in the form of leads that I was purchasing at the problem. And eventually enough of those will just slip through the cracks and land in the Plinko thing that will get checks.
And you feel, and it makes, it hits your dopamine level, right?
Yeah,
so
I call myself the CEO if I'm doing that shit, right?
So you feel good.
It feels good
money
to generate leads too.
Yeah, because you're making money for that month, but you don't actually know your entire budget over
No.
whether you had a 1 times return, 2 times, or maybe you're actually in the hole for your realtor.com leads. But maybe 1 year and you live off that Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite.
You guys know my realtor.com lead story.
Yeah.
It is exactly that.
Yeah, where you had
it is an Uncle Rico
I
story.
had like 100-to-1 return, and then like at the end of it was a 10-to-1 return, but it was all based off that 101 diminishing down to a 10-to-1. Right?
Swung at every pitch and finally hit a $3 million condo.
Yes, right. So that's great, but what you can have is with those right systems and simplify it. Where one thing that over what kind of fried my brain in the beginning when I was going to all these coaching sessions and all these masterminds and how people had all these different buckets, like, all right, this group is buying in the next 3 months or less. This person's buying in the next 24 hours or less. This person's buying 3 years from now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and they're like, you have to have different marketing messages for each one of those buckets. I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
So Michael Perna,
out of Detroit, that boy sells some houses.
he's pushing a lot. There's something I took away from him years ago at Family Reunion was just send the same stuff to the same people. It doesn't matter whether buyer, seller, investor, whether past client, just send it to them. Once I started doing that, my business magically started taking off. And I didn't I sent today, to this day, I just sent out, or we're about to, Clinton, in fact, just sent me the video. I'm doing, by the property taxes just came out, right? So it came out on Monday, and same day that IRS tax returns were due, right? So property taxes came out, and if you saw on my Facebook, there's a reason why I asked that question on Tuesday. Tell me how high did your valuation go? And because everyone loves to compare, everyone loves to bitch, moan, and complain. And so what do? So I'm going to make a video that's sending out to the entire database, whether you're a homeowner or not, how to protest your property taxes. Mm-hmm. That way I don't have to go separate the list. It's still that touch, right? So you're still touching them. It's still coming off as that expert. You still want that email to be dropped.
Man, this is such a good point. Think about this. And I do want to get to time management.
This is time.
Think about this. If you were looking for a doctor or a lawyer or somebody who was an expert service provider, you didn't have one at the time, do you think that when you went to go choose one and you had several of them marketing to you at any given time, do you think that the one that would be top of mind was the one that was constantly going, hey, are you ready to do anything? I'm just following up. Are you ready to do something? I'm just following up. Or do you think it would be the one that say, hey, here's how brain surgery works or whatever, like consistently brain surgery, whatever. You know what I mean? Here's how, here's everything you need to know about fighting a DWI when you get one. I don't know.
Yeah, like that would be perfect.
There you go. Consistently demonstrating expertise hits you at every stage in the process. And what I mean by stage in the process is you're always at some stage in the home buying or selling process. Even when you just bought or sold, you're just continuing the cycle again. So if I continue my marketing message, this is what Nick is speaking to. The marketing message is always the same because the marketing message is a message of expertise and contribution, right? Protesting taxes is something that you can provide, a value that you can provide for your database. It also keeps you top of mind. If you have that marketing message that demonstrates you as an expert, then when people are ready, they're going to seek you out. And I'm not saying don't follow up with people. Your hot prospects, all that type of stuff, of course, follow up relentlessly, right? And not all of your marketing message, in fact, most of it shouldn't be, Hey, I'm just following up. Hey, I'm just following up. You see, like dividing into the buckets, the timelines. Just demonstrate yourself as an expert through your marketing, and then your follow-ups will be that much more beneficial and fruitful. That's not an approach that a lot of agents take. And that's bananas to me.
I didn't for years. Oh my goodness. I didn't for years really have a really good grasp. And it wasn't until you and I partnered and you really took over the system stuff and we got rolling. And it's probably only been maybe a year of really experiencing this, how much simplification actually makes your business bigger. I was because of my lack of amount of clients, I was overthinking the whole process about what they wanted to hear from me. I thought each message, there was at one point in my career where I was going to do a monthly newsletter about fucking trees. I thought that would be content
tell
people
us
would
about
want
the
from me.
trees. What
There's just, I do think trees are really pretty, and I love homes with big, beautiful old trees in the front. And I started just looking for all of the notable trees.
I would choose any
North
other
Texas.
agent. I'm like,
Bro,
I'm not choosing that
It
guy.
was these
fucking hippie.
Yeah,
Dude,
my concern is I call him out. He just wants to talk trees the whole time.
Yeah,
It's
right.
like,
I would be like, your home's worth $50,000 more because look at this tree, right? Like, it was such a and I scrapped it after realizing it was dumb and I had no ability to write and all the other things that I couldn't do in that. But I was overcomplicating every part of the process, thinking that the message needed to be really specific. And really what people are looking for is evidence of success up and down the board, right? Do you need to send every person, like for us, there are times I worry, I'm like, man, are my clients getting an email every single time we close a house? Because I'll be honest with you, living in DFW is closing a house a day about, like, that is a lot of freaking emails about other people's successes. Now, I also know Brian has it dialed in. I know what's happening, but I had all those concerns about, am I being
spent a little more than that this year?
It has been, but are we I know as an agent, there are people listening to this right now being like, I'm not going to hit my clients all that. I'm not going to annoy them. I don't want to pester them. I don't want to do all this other stuff. I'm going to tell you right now, you're also going to be the same agent that's going to look up your client's address and realize the house sold 3 months ago and you had no idea they were looking. It's not about annoying them. It's just about being present. If they don't like what they're seeing, they'll opt out of your email. And then guess what? If they opt out of your email, I call and be like, hey, Nick, man, I saw you opt out of my email. I know I sent you a bunch of shit. I'm super sorry, right? Like, do you want me to take you off some of that or did something change? Now it's just an opportunity for you to talk to them. This has nothing to do with time blocking. It just has to do with, I'm the biggest fan. Like, look, you can look at my calendar right now. The only stuff that's on there is the stuff that I need to go to. I have systematically delete stuff that is just on there for my own ego.
Sure.
To be like, oh, I'm going to go to this thing. And working with Living, they'll just keep putting shit back on your calendar. So I have to keep deleting some stuff that I'm just not going to go to. But I've gotten my calendar dialed into a point where it's only the things I need to do. But I've got my business dialed in now to a point through other people's help where now all I'm focused on are the tiny few things that I need to be doing. And none of that at all has to do with me coming up with a marketing message and what I'm going to say to people, because I am the same neurotic agent as everybody else. I will overthink it. Instead, I see somebody had a kid graduate high school or something amazing happen through their social media, and I reach out to them that way.
Yeah.
And the reason that matters to our topic is because all of those are just finding your efficiencies in your business.
That parlay is actually perfectly 100%. The amount of time I spend encouraging our agents to do exactly that is second to none, and it's so valuable. But speaking to the actual time management part, how do you fit that in? Because here's what we do. Mia Yamashita put this really, really well yesterday. She used this amazing term that I love now. When we talk about, connecting with people via social media and stuff, it's just like, how do you avoid doom scrolling? I love that term, doom scrolling, where it's like, I don't really know what to say to this person, so I'm just going to watch reels for 4 hours, right? And that happens to all of us. So anyway, I say that to say, how do we block our time? What do top agents, how do we spend our time? How do you spend your time every day? Besides yawning during the podcast.
All right. Here's okay. So I will give the first piece of this. I was very caught up early in real estate of thinking every day needed to look the same. One thing that is most profound in my calendar is I have days that I know are going to be really bogged down with different items, right? Like, for instance, I know Wednesdays and Thursdays are almost impossible for me to do client-facing activities. There's so much other stuff going on those days that I have to be really intentional with any client time that I'm going to have on different days. And I encourage a couple of the agents that I coach on the team that have different lead generation sources they want to explore. Don't feel like you have to door knock every single day. Don't feel like you need to call. I would say expireds are probably the only lead source that you need to hit on a daily basis if you want to have efficiency with them, because it is just a numbers game.
For sale by owners.
And for sale by owners, because they're speed to lead, right? And of course your digital leads. But I'm talking about, like, when we talk about circle prospecting, when we talk about door knocking, those are all just going to be when you get there. You're going to miss some. You're going to find some early. You're going to find very little when the timing is right. The biggest thing about my calendar is it is not the same day to day. And I think if most people would embrace that part of it, they would find a lot more time for a lot of the shit they want to do.
If that's called batching.
Yeah.
Right. So when
Yes,
when you're batching together, but you still have the same calendar every week. Right. So what we did in the beginning as our buildup, and right now it's not, I'll tell you, like, I don't have a schedule. I wake up and the day tells me where I'm going, unfortunately, right now, which is not, I will tell you, that's not how you should run a business.
No,
That's
but
fair.
there also is a level where you do. Here, look, let's be honest. You have enough shit going on at this point, and enough other hands and other pies and things that there is an aspect of your day that part's uncontrollable.
I think there's a certain level of drive and determination in a human that you're just going to get stuff done.
Correct. Yes. And so, but I always want to make sure, sorry, someone's asking me to change my Salesforce password. No. I always want to make sure that I don't come off as a fraud when I explain the way the calendar is and how my calendar is today. It's not where it will be come July of 2022. But lead generation time, we did it every single day from 8 to 12, and our successful agents still follow that today.
Yes, yeah.
The reason being is just like your fitness or anything like that. When you get your workout in, if you consistently work out at the same time, then it becomes that habit, that routine. And when you get off of it, it kind of throws you out of whack. So ours has always been, not putting off lead gen into the afternoon time.
Yep.
It was 8 to 12. And then 12 to 1 is really your follow-up hour, because usually it shouldn't take you more than an hour to do any of your follow-ups and your touches.
If you're doing them every day.
Yes. If you're doing them every day. Yeah. Yes. From there, it's setting your appointments for the rest of the day. Right. So personal appointments, in-person appointments, virtual appointments, going and previewing houses, doing those. That's when your afternoon time frame takes over. And then on the weekends, if you're not hosting an open house, I always said, like, look, if you're not going to do an open house, and right now we're hearing open houses are a great lead source. It wasn't always big for us on our team. So what we always said is, like, look, if you're not going to do an open house, just go spend an hour and a half of making calls on a Saturday and Sunday. You're going to be really impressed of how your pickup rate's going to be. And you've now spent just 3 hours on a weekend. That's going to probably return you close to six figures if you do it consistently every single week.
Yeah.
100%.
I see our new listings and our new pendings coming through all the time. And I'll tell you, open house and FSBOs right now ain't too shabby.
Yeah.
They've been fantastic. I mean, think about it. And we had a similar discussion about this around, like, kind of like the cycle of marketing, and like when some stuff starts working really well, everybody does it, and then it stops working because everybody's doing it
for years.
So some people stop doing it, so it starts working well again. Open houses are killing it right now because buyers just want to get any chance they can to get into a home. Man, be holding open houses right now for sure. But you both made a really, really good point around, not every day is going to be the same in real estate. And one, that's impossible, so it shouldn't be. But two, that doesn't mean that the most important parts shouldn't always be the same. What I will tell you this is that the top agents on our team, there are a few fundamental things that they do the exact same way every single day. And that first one is their lead generation. And I know if you're cringing right now and you hate that I just said you got to lead generate every day and you got to do it at the same time, you're feeling one of two things. Either boredom because you're a badass and you already know that and it's elementary for you, or you're revolted because you hate that I keep saying stuff like that and you're not doing it. 9 to 12 every single day. If you try to open your mouth in my office and it doesn't have to do with lead gen, I will shut you the fuck down. And I am not kidding about that. And I've hurt a lot of people's feelings doing that. And that's just the truth, guys. And I mean that in every single way. If you've got buyers that are saying, hey, I need to show a house at 10 o'clock this morning, and you say, hey, I'm tied up then, but I can do it at 1 o'clock. And they say, okay, I'll find another agent. Let them go. And I mean that for real. If you value yourself and your career and your expertise the same way that a doctor or a lawyer would, let them go. There will be better people that respect your time, that understand that you are a professional, that have a schedule, and you will get to them and provide that type of service to them on your schedule when you are available. And start to use leverage. pay a showing assistant to go show them, right? Figure it out. But do not sacrifice your lead generation time. For us, it's 9 to 12 every single day, no matter what. And I say that to say, in my schedule, I have a few core tenets like that. What I will also advise against is overscheduling. I will tell you right now, if you're one of these, I call them like calendar buffs. If you show me your calendar and it's all just blocked off, I just think you're an asshole. Because I just know you're not doing all that stuff. There's no way your life can be that predictable. There's no way that nothing ever comes up, right? If you look at my calendar, there are 3 or 4 blocks every single day. Most days, Monday through Friday, they're a little bit different. Some are the exact same. No matter where I am, I don't care if I'm on the moon, I'm doing our 9 o'clock power-up call. We go from 9 to 9:05. I keep it very simple so we can get right into lead gen.
I derailed you today.
You took about 9:10 today.
Yeah, 9:10 sometimes.
Right? I've done it from different countries before. I do that no matter what. And then I'll get to why, my habits around that. After that, I have my core stuff that I need to do every day, my recruiting calls, all that type of stuff is blocked off. And it's only 3 or 4 blocks every day. I have recurring meetings that happen every week, some on Wednesday, some on Thursday, whatever. The reason that if you look at my calendar, it looks like there's only 3 or 4 blocks a day is because everything that's not on my calendar is my time to get into GSD mode. That's just get shit done mode, right? I use, there's a really good book by Peter Bregman called 18 Minutes, if you've ever checked it out. He's a big financial business consultant. He's got this really, really powerful daily to-do list. It's 6. They're not quadrants. I don't know what 6 is. Sextants. Whatever. Probably. Right. And it's that simple. And if you're trying to overcomplicate things, please don't. I use a sheet of paper that has 6 different squares on it, and they each pertain to 6 different areas of my life or business. So I have 3 different businesses that I pour a lot into. That's our real estate company, the investment company, the property management company. I have goals for every one of those on a yearly basis. I have personal goals. Those are usually things to do with like relationships or things that I want to do personally, like become fluent in Spanish this year, which I'm failing at, but I'm trying real hard. And then I have what's called the other 5%. The other 5% is everything that you're going to need to do that day that doesn't speak to your goals or the person that you want to become. I'm going to need to get my oil changed sometimes. I'm going to need to go grocery shopping sometimes. You can't avoid those things and act like they don't exist. So you put them in the other 5%, so the stuff that just needs to happen. I say this to say, if you want to know what a top agent does every day, he rigorously sticks to the things that are important to drive the business forward. I consider my lead gen to be important to drive my business forward. I consider leaning into my people to drive my business forward non-negotiable. I consider all of my recurring meetings that move our business forward non-negotiable. And I purposely leave that white space on my calendar because every single night I fill out that 6 quadrant, sextant, whatever, to-do list with what do I need to accomplish the next day to drive my business forward or my life forward in this area. And it is as simple as that. When that lead gen period is over, I go right back to that to-do list and I say, I have 1 hour. What can I do in 1 hour to knock my stuff off this list, right? And I literally take a pen and I hand cross them out every single time. You know what that keeps me from doing? Doom scrolling. You know what that keeps me from doing? Screwing around. That keeps, when you have that sitting right there in front of you saying, this is the person that you want to become. They need to do this. This is the 70-year-old man looking back at you in the mirror, screaming for you to do the right thing. He has to do this today. That's where you get stuff done. When you overschedule yourself and those people that try to live their day 5 minutes at a time, I'll tell you right now, fuck all that. You got to make sure that your most important stuff that you can't avoid is on your calendar every single day. And you have got to leave time to rigorously knock out everything else that you need to get done, because no day in this business will be the same. If you allowed yourself to float in between commitments, you'll float into the abyss. You'll doom scroll. You'll get distracted. You will turn around in 2 years and you'll say, why didn't I hit my goals? It's not because you didn't manage. It's not just because you didn't have your time managed every 5 minutes. It's because you didn't commit to the important things. And the time you did have in between the important things, you didn't have anything visually down in front of you that says, I have to do this to be the future version of myself. I have to do this right now. That's where people get lost.
No, I like it. I like it, though. Let me ask you this. If you're hearing that, Matt, and when you hear that, what goes to your mind?
Well, and it's funny, it's because this is why Brian and I are such amazing business partners, because that is obviously something that is completely alien to me. I have witnessed all of these things happen, right? And I witnessed the changes that it's made in him. And then I still look at it and I'm like, I don't really know what I would do tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Because what I'm unwilling to commit to, the part of that I'm unwilling to commit to is the rigorous demand on myself. And just moment of transparency, I will let me down quicker than anybody else, right? And I think a lot of people are that way. Where even if you're a selfish, narcissistic asshole, maybe not narcissist, but even if you're kind of a selfish person, right? You will still kind of let yourself suffer before you'll let those people really close to you suffer a little bit. Through years of just me being the type of person I am, I've extrapolated that out all the way into this huge sense where I'm like, look, Matt just doesn't really keep promises to Matt, so he ain't even going to try making them, right? So I have to break down very fundamental, like baby steps in it. But I think the thing that scares me away from even something like that is it's putting real commitment on paper that I can't shy away from. Whereas as long as they're just dreams and goals in my head and ideas, I can talk about the 5-year plan without having to put any today action to it. Because boy, I fucking love Mondays. I love the first of the month. I love the first of the year because they're all not right now.
Right.
Right. And so the idea of writing down all those goals is it's accountability that makes me uncomfortable. And I bet if most people are being honest, that's probably what keeps them from doing it.
100%. Now what I want people to hear and realize is not everyone's is made up like Brian is,
No,
right? Brian, you've always been a systemized person, right? So you have always been.
Sure.
I've known you a long time. You very are systematized, whether it's more refined now than it was back then.
Sure.
And so for a lot of people that aren't that way, now the steps that I would say if Brian's way kind of turns you off, because I'll tell you, there's going to a lot of people that hear that, you're like, you know what? It's kind of like people where they hear role playing.
It feels intense. Yeah.
Yeah. It's very intense. They're like that. It's not going to motivate them. It's actually, if they did that, they would only do it for a very little time because it wouldn't hold them accountable. It wouldn't motivate them.
Sure.
And so one of our mentors, someone that I look highly up to is David Osborne. And something that he talks about is going from one, starting out and then going to an extreme. The way he holds his goals accountable is very extremist now. But, he said something that stuck with me years ago that was, if you're let's go back to your real estate lead gen. Let's say that you're like, Matt's like, you know what? I'm going to start making 500 calls a day for 5 days a week, 500 calls a day. But right now, Matt's not even making 5 calls a week. He's like, don't set up, unrealistic goals, because what's going to happen is the day that you miss it, or the first day that it doesn't happen, then you've already given yourself permission just to let it go.
Yeah.
Right. So you go with that baby steps. Like, all right, you know what? I'm at 5 a week. So let's go 25 a day. Let's go something that is so obtainable, and then stair step your way up.
Sure.
And then, what was once hard or that wasn't routine now becomes easy and routine.
100%.
Right. So I don't go to the extreme that you do. I have goals. I write them down because I believe in visualizing my goals. And if you write them down enough, kind of like our Disney map or Disney vision, right? We've hit everything on our Disney vision that my brother and I set out to do.
1,000%.
So now I want to update that and all, see where the next phases that goes, and then start to make sure that are we building the right lifestyle? Because a lot of people start looking at certain lifestyles and they're like, I really want that, without understanding number one, the pain and the work that it took to get there, and 2, the amount of work that it takes to maintain that type of business.
Yeah.
Right. So, what is your lifestyle that you want? And then start researching and say, okay, this is the steps. This is the type of money I need. This is the type of business I need to have.
Sure.
It may be, hey, I only want to work 20 hours a week and still find a way to make $200,000 a year. How do I do that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then you start setting up your systems. You start setting up your normal lead generation activities, whatever that may be. Or it could be, I want all my personal lifestyle expenses to be paid for by passive or residual income.
It's a good goal.
What does that look like? What steps do I need to do? And then you start to build towards that.
That's such a great conversation. And that's where we can really go down the rabbit hole, because really your time management starts with what it is that you're even trying to accomplish. And I do 100% agree with that. The longer we do this and the deeper into it we get, I think the more that we see this in people that we know. People set very arbitrary goals because they feel the pressure to set really big goals. You know what I mean? And I love that John had just posted that, because going back to what we were talking about before, you don't need to have an extremist version of it. I realize that you need to build up to that, right? I love that you said that, because I don't want to scare anybody off with kind of like that style of doing things. What I more so, I want to invite you to use tools, right? Even if you only have 4 squares and you have one thing on there each day, what I'm trying to encourage you to do is not micromanage your time so hard that you really don't get anything done, because I know people that manage their time in 15-minute intervals. I think that's bananas. Some things take longer than 15 minutes. And then what happens is if you abandon your 15-minute intervals a few times, all of a sudden they don't exist anymore. And so you can start with a less extreme version. You take the David Osborne approach, which you should start very small. Just make sure that you're getting the right things on your calendar that are non-negotiables. And the time that you have where there's not stuff blocked in your calendar, you have guidance around what it is that you're trying to accomplish, you know? And so you can start small. I will tell you the other thing, and this is great, I think wonderful guidance that I got from someone years back that I cannot remember where it came from, some book that I have used in my own life. And fortunately, I don't have to as much anymore because it's so effective. Time management is so much more about reduction than it is about addition. And what I mean by that is managing your time well is not about adding more stuff to your calendar. Managing your time well is about reducing the amount of waste in your day, because when things are not on your calendar, you're not doing anything productive. And so whatever device you want to use to manage your time better, your real productive time is spent in between the stuff that's on your calendar, right? So I challenge people in our team meetings and stuff like that to do this all the time. I challenge them. The way to build a habit, a positive habit of any sort, whether it's time management, fitness, diet, meditation, personal growth, being nicer to people, whatever it is that you want to build, your awareness around your behavior lends itself to your time management in ways you could not imagine. And what I mean by that, I encourage people, I'll use diet for just 1 second. You want to know the easiest way to never eat shitty food again? When you walk through the grocery store or you go to a restaurant, announce out loud enough for other people to hear exactly what you just ordered and exactly what you're buying at the grocery store. If you start saying that out loud, I'm buying Frosted Flakes again. I know they're fucking terrible for me. Can you imagine how quickly you would stop doing shit like that? Because it's uncomfortable.
I don't even know if you'd go to the store.
You
anymore.
wouldn't.
You know, I'm like, I just ordered on Amazon.
All right, so that's unfair. You can't
Yeah.
cheat, right?
Yeah.
But I mean that with your time management. The second you start doom scrolling, the second you start doing something unproductive, just announce to yourself, I'm mindlessly scrolling through Facebook. It's not about embarrassing you. It's about bringing to your attention, hey, I'm doing something unconsciously, and now I'm bringing it into the conscious realm. Is this what the 70-year-old person inside me is counting on me to do right now?
Let me ask you this, because this is something that my coach brought up, and he said that Gary Keller said this. I don't know, maybe it's true, maybe it's not, but because I've heard it elsewhere before, and he says, look, if you could build in your business, you can you need to build a profitable, successful business, but you can only work 2 hours a day, right?
I love that.
And if you work over that, then it basically kills you. So, and I've heard some podcasts where it was in other industries where like someone's built a successful business and the stress got to them so bad because they were working so much that the doctor said you got to reduce it, and they were able to build a bigger, more profitable,
like they couldn't
more
physically
scaled
work
business.
more than
Yes,
that.
more scaled business, working only 4 hours a day. And so the question that my coach always brought up is like, what could you be doing if you could only work 2 hours every single day in your business, and that's all you could work? What would you do? How would you build it, and how would you make sure that it's scaling and profitable?
Such a powerful question, man. Because I will tell you, I like anybody else, I get sucked in those rabbit holes. I spent way too much time today trying to fix something on the website for this podcast that if I only had 2 hours in the day, I absolutely would have found a way.
So let me ask you,
leverage
would
out.
you just have outsourced it?
I 100% would
Yeah,
have.
you
I would
would've
have had
outsourced
to.
Yeah.
I
So
would have had to.
So that's a lot of the things where we get sucked into this, and something that I'm going to be honest, and I won't go into it much now because I'll get really emotional.
Sure.
But I mean, that's something that's changed my way of thinking. You and I have talked about this a lot since my brother's passing away, but it's kind of changing our thought process around how much we work.
Yeah.
Right. Where if you could go build a process and a system that you're only working a couple hours a day. Like I used to say, like, you know, a lot of agents expect full-time income on part-time work.
Yeah.
But if you're intentional with this and you say, all right, Matt, 2 hours a day, that's all you get. How are you going to go build and make $500,000 a year? Go build it now. Tell me. And then you start working towards that.
It's a really interesting question because when we look at, you know, agents wanting full-time income on part-time work, I would also argue that the amount of time that agents say they spend working, the amount of churn and waste in there.
Yes.
Most agents probably only do work 2 hours a day. If we're being honest, I guarantee you most agents only really work 2 hours a day. So you got to look at where is the waste in your business. The reason that we feel like we're working so much is because we're wasting time. When I'm spending 8 hours a day and I'm maybe working 20 or 30 minutes at a time, and then I'm doing something else that's not really fulfilling, I'm coming back and then I'm spending time on social media and then I'm getting distracted in some other way and then I'm coming back for 24 minutes. It feels like I've worked for 8 to 10 hours that day when really I only work for 2 hours. If I worked for 2 hours really hard and that was all I had, I would find ways to fill the rest of my time with things that are meaningful and fulfilling to me. And so I would actually challenge people to change their mindset around that. Maybe we should be working 2 hours a day. Maybe we should actually be working though.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
I love that.
100% working. So
Jesse and I are in sync on these hypothetical questions. Everything he keeps highlighting. This is just a stupid dad joke. If a turtle lost its shell, would it be homeless or naked?
There's a lot of naked homeless people out there,
Yeah.
so I think it can be both.
It's so freaking stupid.
All right, let's get a good one in here.
Okay, well, Jesse scrolls up and finds a good one real quick. But would you rather wear, because I thought about this when I read this, would you rather wear two clothes 2 sizes too big or 2 sizes too small? Because as I thought about that, I would be so irritated by either one.
yeah, too big.
Yeah, you can't.
too,
you can't
too
avoid.
small would be
Too
so
small feels like it would
uncomfortable.
just be impossible.
So
I couldn't
uncomfortable.
fit in
Yeah.
Y'all are gonna
like
hate my answer
a
so
medium.
much.
Oh, Brian,
Oh, Brian
I've
is
seen you on
definitely gonna
vacation.
go
You're wearing
small.
too small
Yeah.
all day long.
I look so small and weird in clothes that are too big. I'm pretty proud of my body. I wouldn't mind wearing clothes that are too small.
Yeah.
I'm typically a large across the board and everything at this point, and it's
Yeah.
like the thought of just either wearing double XL or small.
Yeah.
Both sounds miserable, but I
Small
couldn't
would-
physically fit into a small.
would be too to
I
show your
couldn't. It's
midriff.
just not
That's
even
the-
possible.
that's the
Nobody
problem
wants to
with it.
see the hair situation going on under here.
No, for sure.
So, I
Brian,
don't know.
Brian, if he did the 2 sizes too big, he would look like he's wearing like his dad's clothes. He's like the little kid
Exactly.
in school that's wearing his dad's clothes.
Who would
I forgot to bring clothes to the sleepover. Is what it looked like.
Yeah.
who would
that's
win in a
right.
fight between 2 half-sized Bruce Lees and 1 full-sized Mike Tyson?
That's so good.
I got Tyson.
I still think
all
just
day.
size.
No.
At some point, weight comes
It's
into
2
this.
half sizes Bruce Lees.
Can-
They could.
I don't know. You guys are not big fight fans. What is your real opinion on Bruce Lee?
I mean, look, I'm going to be the generic like hater who just says like I know there's probably some people who are amazing from a Bruce Lee perspective and like that saw. Obviously Bruce Lee was long dead before he was even born.
Yeah.
But the what's left of him doesn't make me think that he's going to take one from Mike Tyson. I feel like the karate thing only works if you got to be really fucking amazing, because if Mike Tyson just bull rushes you and can just smokes you on the ground, do you really only have one shot?
I agree.
Or
I would
are
put it to you this
that
way.
big of a ninja. I guess maybe I don't get the style.
There is a lot of lore around Bruce Lee. I take nothing from him. I think he is a martial arts master. And the simple question to ask, if you're talking about him fighting Mike Tyson or even 2 half size of him, what is Bruce Lee's professional fight record? Because I can tell you some motherfuckers that Mike Tyson knocked out.
Yeah.
They're all over YouTube. Like, that dude was a baller, still is. Who did Bruce Lee fight?
Is Mike Tyson gonna do one of these celebrity fights? Is he gonna fight like Jake Paul?
Yeah, I think.
Dude, Mike Tyson would destroy Jake Paul.
I honestly hope that weirdly happens.
And I'm not
just-
even a Jake Paul hater.
Not
I
even
just
Jake
think
Paul to
he's-
get punched in the face,
I
just-
actually, I'm telling you right now, if you're not a boxing fan and you're just hating on Jake Paul, that kid is actually working very hard right now. And I don't believe he's anywhere near the level that he believes he is. And he could probably fuck you up pretty bad.
I don't want to get. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not getting in a fight with Jake Paul.
Yeah, I
will get my ass.
I just love the idea that people that have never fought in their life just talk shit about people that are training every day, even if they started in their 20s. Like, I get it. Jake Paul is not going to beat Canelo Alvarez, and he's going to beat pretty much every 26-year-old out there because the dude works every single day at it, man. Like, that Tyrone Woodley knockout was not a joke. I was disappointed, too. I wanted him to get shut up. He didn't. You got to be humble. The kid can fight.
Yep.
Like, it is what it is.
Did we already ask our questions? Or
What kind of tree would you be and why?
Oh, I don't even
see. I just
This
talked
is
to my shit about
very
trees,
relevant.
and now I'm going to say, like, here's what I will
I
say.
feel like Matt's been thinking about this for a while.
I love the old trees.
This was
like
this
the
was part of
redwood
his-
trees.
So you're like, I want to be an old tree.
like, dude. If you ever watched the original Planet Earth,
Are there old types of trees though?
oh, dude,
This
There's
is
trees
something
that
I
are-
don't know.
there's like trees that are older than
And-
like
and
the
San-
time that older than Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
like
and
No. But I guess what I'm trying to ask is, are there particular types of trees that are only old, like they don't come out anymore?
oh no,
There's not like
I
a
don't-
2022 version of this
of, like,
particular
a new
tree. Yeah,
No, I think if it still exists, we're gonna try and recreate that. Bad
that's
boy.
what I mean. Like, are there only?
I haven't
there's
seen
some
the
trees that are
redwood
only
trees in
old.
California. I want to see those.
No, those
bad
are-
Aren't those
Those are
like
sweet.
The redwood
hundreds of
trees
feet tall?
and a
Yeah.
blue whale. I got to see both those because the size of them makes no sense.
What if you saw that in the redwood forest?
a blue whale in the
At
redwood
same
forest?
time.
I'm gonna be like, like the Shrek where they catch a talking donkey. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
excited. Like, I got a talking donkey. I'm good. Like, I just saw a whale in the forest.
Is a cactus a tree or a plant?
It's a
It's a
succulent.
cactus.
Yeah, but
You know, they have those
Like-
cactuses in Arizona that are like legit, like huge, that crush people's cars when they fall over. Those saguaro cactuses.
yeah,
They get like, somebody correct me, if like 25, 30 feet tall. Like, they get, I can't imagine rolling up on a cactus that's 3 stories tall.
that is nuts. I like the cactus one though. I'll put it this way: if cactuses are not trees, then I want to be some sort of like fruit tree because I want to give back. If cactuses are trees, I want to be a cactus because don't fucking touch me. You don't know me. Like,
Oh.
why are you just touching things?
That's super on brand.
Yeah,
You know? So it's one of those.
they're not trees.
They're not
not
trees.
trees.
They're succulents.
Yep. See,
Succulent sounds like a real fancy word made up by some really bougie plant
right.
guy.
I know.
You're a sucker.
It could have been called something way more simple.
I don't get science. Why are dolphins in the water but they're mammals? I didn't understand none of this.
Dolphins aren't mammals.
Whales are mammals?
Whales are mammals.
Maybe I meant whales.
Can you Google that?
Wait,
real
no.
fast?
No,
Somebody- dolphins are
Are they
mammals.
both
Sure,
mammals?
yeah.
Yes.
Man,
Which
which
how
one's
much
are-
Brian has me convinced
Shh.
he's smarter than me. I just agree with him when he tells me I'm wrong.
I don't. Are dolphins? What immediately it said, "Are dolphins worth anything?" Like, we're about to go get some. Are dolphins now is the first one. Okay, are dolphins mammals?
Answer.
They
Yes.
are
No. Yeah.
far. We don't know. Yes or no? Just do that. That little drop down. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
Not fish.
They're not
They
fish.
are
They
are
mammals.
mammals.
Okay.
Not a fish.
Fish lay eggs. Mammals do not. I learned that.
Dolphins are straight up dickheads.
Learned
too.
that from the Bloodhound gang.
I don't know.
They
I think
will.
they're badass.
Dolphins are
They will
mean.
commit
If you just
they will
Google
commit
dolphins,
they will
are
commit
mean.
rapine.
They do.
They do.
They do that.
They do.
Dude.
Dolphins are dicks.
They're very smart. I like how we always say we give humanity so little credit. I was like, you guys know how smart dolphins are? They can like talk to each other and stuff. I was like, you ever fucking seen New York? Humans are so much smarter than everything. What are you talking about? No animal is smart. No animal is smart. None of them. They're like, chimps learn how to use sticks and get ants out of them.
I
They're
think
not
it's-
smart.
I think
No
it's-
animals are smart. None of them are smart.
I fall on the other side of this. I think it's funny when people are like, the animal's so mean. I'm like, he's not mean or nice. He's just doing
He's
what
just, he's instinctive.
Victoria and I were talking about this the other day. They were like, she was like, male lions are bitches and female lions do all the work. I'm like, you're right, but none of them care about
Yeah,
that.
I
The
don't
female
think
lion's not coming home at night being like, you motherfucker, you sat around all day.
I don't
She's
think
just doing what she does. He's doing what he does. Like, they don't. We're the ones who have all of a sudden just decided that this is annoying.
Yeah, we look at everything through our lens. It's the same thing. We're like
Yes,
gauging them
dude.
as a human, which is so silly. We're like, they're so majestic and smart. I'm like, have you ever picked up a book? We've documented all the things we know. You ever seen a fucking seal do that? They're not writing stuff down. They're not smart. No animals are smart. None of them.
You know what is smart?
Like,
Armadillos.
That's perfect.
Armadillo.1/store.
I wondered how you could just have that.
mortgagebankatexas.com. Homework DFW. Check all those guys out. Please give us a 5-star review on iTunes if you didn't hate this episode. Appreciate it.
Monkeys are not soft. They feel like sandpaper filled with dirt.
They do.
Thanks for watching the show today. Make sure if you're watching this on Facebook, you head over to our group, the only real estate group worth being a part of, so you can watch the extended conversation. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And if you listen on the Apple Podcast, leave us a review. We'd really like it. So just do it. Do it. Do that over there. Go to this one. Then go to that one. Thanks.